Alright, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing good. We're going to be doing a timeless reading. If you don't want to see the astrology portion, the tarot portion will be time-stamped in the comment section below. So I have the charts and transits right next to me. Let's go ahead and hop in. So first and foremost, we are officially in eclipse season. We do have a solar eclipse in Libra today. We are also in a new moon, the moon also being in Libra. So just those two things alone, starting off the astrology portion. Eclipses to me, in this particular instance, has more to do with clearing out anything from your past, whether that's mental blocks, emotional blocks, karmic relationships, toxic cycles within yourself or within your relationships that you may have experienced up until this point. All of that is kind of being cleared away. And it's this kind of tower energy, right? So this energy to me right now, specifically with the new moon and the eclipse, that's tower energy. Like, you can see the new moon as a point of manifestation where you're setting intentions and doing stuff like that. But because we have this eclipse energy, it's really, really concentrated. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like right now is a good time for you to focus on what you're trying to release in order for manifestations to start to come in quicker, which at this point, we also did have Pluto go direct a few days ago. So a lot of the stagnation that you may have been feeling is going to start clearing up. Let's take a look at some transits, man. So we have the Sun conjunct the Moon. We have Sun conjunct Mercury. The Moon's conjunct Mercury as well. Moon quincunx Jupiter is kind of nice, but we have a lot going on with like Chiron. We have Chiron is also opposing the Sun, opposing the Moon, and opposing Mercury. It's really interesting. You see how we have those, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, I guess 3, well, 1 star, 2 planets. The Moon's not a planet. You know what I'm talking about. We have 4 planetary bodies that are essentially interacting with each other right now during the eclipse. Given the Moon and the Sun are also in Libra, Mercury's in Libra as well. Chiron is in Aries but is retrograde. Really interesting. All Libra energy, well, specifically for these transits that we're talking about. But it's really interesting, right? So the conjunction here, I feel like these are kind of energies. If I understand correctly, conjunctions are energies working together, right? So we have Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Chiron all working together right now to help us find ways to release the past. That's just what it feels like to me, right? Because we're in the eclipse, the Sun conjunct the Moon, emotions in the external world, and Mercury being the planet of consciousness and higher awareness and representing essentially the way you communicate. I don't even think we're in Mercury retrograde right now. We're not in retrograde. Huge energy around communication, right? So in your relationships in particular, you could be facing situations where you're like no longer repeating past patterns in your relationship, right? So if there were particular things that were happening in your relationship, recurring themes or recurring cycles, today is the day where that's kind of stopping. I don't know how else to put it, but it just kind of feels like it's just, there's like a major shift where I feel like there's a major shift in consciousness through communication. So you may have been having up until this point very important conversations, or maybe you and your person were getting certain things across in different ways, whether or not you have different communication styles. It looks like you two have reconciled those differences here. And with the Moon quincunx Jupiter, I feel like now you're really starting to feel things manifest. So if you were kind of trying to work things out in your relationship in terms of the direction or mutual values and intentions and what it is you both wanted out of a relationship, everything up until this point, this very concentrated point of energy and time that we're facing right now, even though these are timeless, I feel like this is a very specific reading because we're doing this on the eclipse. But anyways, I feel like because of that, you guys are really just like completely aligned is the best way I can put it. I feel like you both have worked through anything that was holding you back, right? Sun squaring Pluto, anything, any specific shadowy aspects in your external reality. Pluto has to do with the collective shadow, Sun having to do with the world around you. So this to me feels like almost like if you want to get like biblical with it, how Jesus was persecuted and all of that kind of stuff, that kind of energy is coming to an end. So if you're facing a lot of persecution in your life and your relationship surrounding external people trying to get involved, I don't see that continuing to be an issue. And I feel like this is a really beneficial time for you to start to see progress in your relationship. So again, because we have this eclipse helping us clear away all of these energies and all of these cycles and letting go of past trauma, past karmic cycles, mental and emotional blocks, both with you and your person, that's allowing you both to really be in alignment more than I feel like you ever have. That's kind of the best way I can put it. But the fact that we do have Chiron opposing all of this energy, that's where I feel like right now you're kind of in this space of like, okay, I see things moving. The communication is good. You guys are on the same page, moving in the same direction. I feel like the mutual understanding of the relationship is there. However, there are still some things with Chiron going on that's kind of asking you to look at where you feel like you're holding yourself back. So what inside of you feels like it is resistant to opening up to this relationship? Are you having trouble letting this person fully in? Are you having trouble opening yourself up to this person, whether you're just being vulnerable or whether you're just opening yourself to the possibilities of this relationship? Those are the kinds of things that this eclipse is getting you to look at, right? So just as a final review of everything we just covered, you and your person fully aligned, clearing any karmic cycles, clearing any patterns that were keeping you stuck, making sure you're taking a look at ways you're holding yourself back and vice versa between you and your person in order for this relationship to move in the particular direction that you both have clearly decided on based on what I'm picking up on and seeing in these energies. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. If you want to book a personal reading, subscribe to Patreon or listen to my music, all of that's in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. The only way to book a reading is to DM me on Instagram or send me an email. Keep in mind, these readings are timeless. If they do not resonate, don't force them, right? But we're going to be doing something a little different today. So we're going to be using the Ethereal Visions Luna Edition Tarot, and then we're going to be clarifying with the Book of Thoth Tarot. So let's go ahead and hop in. I hope you guys are good, but I hope you guys are fantastic. Hope everybody's feeling good. This eclipse energy is intense. I'm going to be honest, leading up into the eclipse has been very intense. It's for me personally. So let's go ahead and just tap in now. Let's see what comes out here. Okay, we got a few cards. Okay. So, bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Artist. We have Temperance. I believe this is Temperance. We have Death. And then we have the Well and Nine of Swords. Pretty much what we were just talking about with this eclipse energy here. This is like, I feel like there's a lot of potential between you and this person here. This is what it looks like to me, right? We have the Queen of Swords and we have the Artist. Let's take a look at these in particular. We're going to take a look at Artist, Temperance, and the Well. The Artist and the Well are two cards that are specific to this deck. They are created just for this deck. When I see the Artist, to me, that has to do with making plans, right? This has to do with making plans, kind of keeping your distance and trying to figure out the best way to go about it. Keep in mind, these wings here represent Mercury. We were just talking about Mercury in the astrology portion. So this is essentially kind of turning the wheel within your mind, trying to figure out how this relationship can work. That's the best way I can put it. It's like you're both on the same page. You both want the same things. The balance is there and the mutual love is there. I feel like you guys have kind of established something here that's allowing you both the space to reflect on the potential of this relationship. And so it's not necessarily so much as whether or not you guys are together or not. I feel like you guys are solidified in this with the Knight of Pentacles here. I feel like this is a solid relationship where you're now both looking at the details, right? But I do feel like there are some fears. There may be a little bit of external stress, and I feel like that has to do with things that are closing out in your external lives, right? So there may be things that need to be worked through. This could be like finances. Maybe you both are in a space of trying to figure out your finances or get your finances to a better space. But with the Death, Queen of Swords, and Nine of Swords, this is just like mental blocks, right? I feel like that's kind of what's being cleared out right now, especially with this being the eclipse. I feel like in order for this rebirth to really come into fruition, it's going to take both of you having open, honest conversations about your fears, whether that has to do with your past, between you, or in your individual lives, in order to kind of move things into that next phase, right? I'm being drawn to this, though. We do have the King of Cups, bottom of the deck, and then we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so I feel like the emotions are there. I feel like this is something where the love between you is extremely deep. I feel like this is something that may have started out maybe just there was a lot of passion in the connection. This was something where it was just more of like a surface level connection that it may have started out as. But I feel like there are some very real feelings developing between you two. And I feel like that's why these fears are coming up. Because at first, when you don't necessarily have these really deep emotions involved, it's really easy to just take a connection at face value and not have to think too hard about, oh, what are we going to do future-wise? How's the living situation going to look? What will finances look like? All of those kinds of things are now coming to the forefront of both of your minds. I don't know if you've talked about this yet. I feel like this is something that could be coming up with the Queen of Swords. But like I said, man, the love is very, very deep between you two. It is developing into something very solid, right? And then with the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and the Sun, okay? And the Two of Cups, okay? Yeah, I feel like you're both seeing things very clearly, and this is both of you seeing each other the same way. I think in the past, maybe there was a little bit of imbalance here. And that's kind of why I feel like we had like the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Swords and Death. And I feel like whatever was holding this relationship back, I feel like this was like fear of public opinion even. I notice a lot of the times with the Nine of Swords, you kind of have others pointing at a character. And it's something that I see in a lot of different decks. But what I'm seeing here is like there was a fear of how either you or this person would be perceived, whether that's by family members, whether that's by friends or a community. I don't feel like that's an issue anymore. I feel like this is something where I feel like this, I don't know, honestly, I feel like either you and or this person want to, oh, wait a minute. This was the Eight of Wands, excuse me. I thought it was the Nine of Wands, but it's the Eight of Wands. So, I mean, the story still stands with what we were talking about. But I feel like, I mean, just kind of going back to that real quick with the King of Cups and the Eight of Wands, that's like taking action on the emotions. This is like mutual passion and emotion, because Eight of Wands can be Four of Wands and Four of Wands. I feel like you both each have the Four of Wands, but I think in order for this to really come into the physical, there's going to require some sort of travel. That's kind of what I'm seeing. We don't have the Three of Wands. Aside from the point, I feel like, again, you and or this person are kind of ready to go public with this relationship. I don't know if you already have, but what I see here with the Sun, mostly with the Sun, I mean, we're talking a lot about the Sun energy. We don't have the Moon, Sun being the external reality and the world around you. I feel like this is something where somebody doesn't want to keep this a secret, or they don't want to keep this relationship hidden anymore. And I feel like that had a lot to do with, again, fear of being perceived. I feel like this is somebody here who just may have a very real fear of how others perceive them. And I feel like this could be something that has stopped this person in the past from moving forward with this relationship. But with the Death and the Queen of Swords, I don't feel like that's an issue anymore, especially because we moved into the Eight of Wands and the King of Cups here. I feel like this is something where it's just a mutual understanding. You're both seeing this relationship clearly, and now you're saying, you know what, this is something that is actually very fulfilling. It's balanced. I feel like this is something where you both bring a lot of balance to each other. The emotions are there, the commitment is there, the passion is there, the swords. We have every single suit on the table that is indicating that you both are on the same page, looking for and investing in the same thing and direction, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and clarify, I guess, just this whole Two of Cups, Sun, and Two of Pentacles. It's a lot of really balanced energy here. I mean, the Sun could represent kids. Could be dealing with a Leo. I don't know if you have kids with this person. That could be something that's coming up. I mean, we do have the Ten of Cups on the bottom of the deck. I feel like this is something that makes you both very happy. To be honest with you, we have the Eight of Cups. We have, what is this, the Five of Wands. And we have the Lovers, Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. A lot of wand energy. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I feel like there's just a lot of envy around the connection. I feel like these are two people that are, as you both, how do I even say this? As you both let go of your own personal fears, and whether or not you are going public or not is aside from the point, but I just feel like there's a community of people, whether that's in your side of things or their side of things, that are looking on. And I feel like these are people that, like, it's like these are people that are maybe trying to compete with you or something, but it's not even like, I think you're just both kind of focused on each other, right? With the Lovers and the Ten of Cups, I feel like you're just focused on building this future together. I don't feel like this is, you know what I'm picking up on? I don't feel like these are external people that I'm feeling. What I'm feeling like is there was a lot of struggle in the beginning of this relationship. Okay? That's kind of actually what that looks like to me. Because you notice we have a progression of wands here. So let's go, if I can hold the cards properly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing. So we're seeing a progression from the Five of Wands. This was the initial conflict and challenges that you were facing in the beginning of this relationship. And that was causing a little bit of defensiveness between both of you, because I felt like both of you were trying to protect yourselves at one point, right? But you guys have worked into a space of healing through that, and you've healed your individual wounds, and you're now letting go of that conflict. That's exactly what I'm seeing here. And because of this, that's what's allowing you both to really come into this emotionally fulfilling space with the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. So this is you two, again, letting go of your own personal reservations and fears. I feel like there is a lot of compromise here with the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. Yeah, man, with the Nine of Swords, Queen of Swords, and the Death, this is two people having a new understanding of each other's fears. So if there was a point in this relationship where you felt like maybe you weren't being seen or they weren't being seen, I feel like you're both seeing each other clearly now. There's a mutual understanding about your individual triggers, your individual trauma, and how to manage them in order to make each other feel safe in the relationship. This is a very beautiful reading. I feel like these are two people overcoming some massive karmic cycle, man. Keep in mind we are like in the eclipse, right? Let's go ahead and pull from another deck. We're going to clarify with the Book of Thoth Tarot. I've actually been wanting to use the Luna Edition deck for a while, the one that we just used. I wasn't feeling called to it, but today felt like a good day to do it. So let's clarify and see what we have coming out with the Book of Thoth. I like to just clarify the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. I mean, that's like as good as it gets, man. I mean, we have really all amazing cards. Really, really great cards. We have some more coming out. We have the Aeon, the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. We have the Prince of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the Aeon, and the Nine of Pentacles. This to me looks like two people overcoming self-limiting beliefs. Overcoming codependency is what I'm hearing. I feel like, yeah, okay, we have the Universe under that as well. The Five of Pentacles. What I'm feeling like with this energy, the only thing holding you two back is yourselves. And I feel like there's a tendency for you to possibly overthink or worry too much, right? If you, okay, I see. So if you are somebody that has, if you are a trauma survivor or you have like an anxious attachment style, this energy to me, especially with all the nines that we had coming out, has a lot to do with codependency, separation anxiety. If you're not familiar with those terms, I would recommend you do some research on them and see if that's something that you find yourself struggling with in this relationship. So after you've overcome all of these challenges, right, I'm seeing a progression here. I'm seeing two people that are solid in commitment, working towards building a family, having a home. All of those things are already kind of established between you two, whether this is marriage, right? I feel like you two are in this space of, in this spiritual union with each other, especially with the Lovers as well, Okay, all of that's already established. That's not a fear anymore. What I'm feeling like right now, the universe is getting you to look at really just your codependent tendencies. That's kind of what it comes down to. I feel like we're kind of taking a look at both of you right now. Because keep in mind, like this energy we've been reading for, it looks like I'm reading for one energy between two people. And I feel like this has to do a lot with inner child healing. Honestly, like, that's the best way I can put it. This has to do with inner child healing. Prince of Wands, Nine of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and the Aeon. Right? I feel like this has a lot to do with your own individual karmic cycles stemming from your childhood. Completely honest. So take a look at your relationship with your parents. If you have siblings, their relationship with your siblings, and all of that combined. And really take a look at how that has shaped your view of relationships. And make sure you're being aware of how that is impacting this relationship. Let's go ahead and get some advice on that energy here. I really like the progression of these readings because before it seemed like it was more so like trying to figure out, oh, where are you together? Where's the relationship going? Is there external influences? But now it looks like you both have established the relationship, right? Ace of Wands. So like that new beginning has already started here, right? And now it's a matter of just looking at your own individual issues. You know, I came across a post the other day that had to do with being a trauma survivor in a secure relationship. And the whole basis of the post was essentially talking about the fact that, like, sometimes you won't have certain triggers come up for you in a relationship until you're many months into the relationship. That's going to be different for everybody, right? Six of Cups. But that's kind of what I'm seeing here. As you're already in the secure relationship, things are healthy between you two. You guys are both safe individuals. You both feel safe in the relationship. That's giving you space to really face a lot of these inner conflicts. That's the challenge here. Five of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so the wheel has turned. The new beginning has already begun. You guys are already building that future together. There's a lot of healthy emotional reciprocation here. However, I feel like with the Devil under that and the Seven of Swords, this is overcoming your own sense of delusion. And when I'm not necessarily saying like you being in this relationship is delusional. However, what I am saying with these cards is getting to look at the ways in which you overthink and trick yourself into seeing issues where there are none. This is also going back to the same post that I was talking about before this. A lot of the times when you're in these secure relationships as a trauma survivor, or if you just have a toxic past, it doesn't always have to be like as complex as, like, you know, complex PTSD. It could just be PTSD in general. I'm not a psychologist, and these are for entertainment purposes only. I'm not here to diagnose you. I would recommend that you go to a licensed therapist for those proper diagnoses. But what I'm seeing in these cards and what I'm seeing in this reading, these are the issues that you may be working through right now. Seven of Cups, the Devil, and the Six of Cups. Is there anything from your past that you feel like is influencing your ability to see this relationship clearly? I know this is something that can tend to come up in secure relationships as a trauma survivor. There's a need to be very self-aware about the ways in which you are self-sabotaging, right? So when things start to get hot and heavy between you two and things are starting to get very serious, a lot of the times in order to protect yourself, you may find yourself self-sabotaging without knowing that you're self-sabotaging. And the beautiful thing about a relationship like this is you both are holding space for each other to have that process and not holding it against the other person, understanding that you both have your individual pasts and traumas. And by you both understanding those, remember, Death, Nine of Swords, and the Queen of Swords, by having that mutual understanding of what you both have been through, that's what's allowing you to heal through these issues. The types of relationships I read for tend to help you work through those types of issues when it comes to really anything of this sort, right? So let's go ahead and pull some more here. I'd like to clarify the Devil, Six of Cups, and the Seven of Cups, please. We have Four of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands has come out twice. We have Knight of Wands. Four of Pentacles and Strength. So Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Okay, Three of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, Knight of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Strength, and Four of Swords. I feel like you're healing. I feel like this is just releasing energy. I feel like these are the things being released right now. Right, and so that's actually why I really like this reading, because this isn't a question of like, is this person trustworthy? Is this relationship going anywhere? All of that's been established. Right now, I think the important thing for you to pay attention to, or at least that's what Spirit is bringing to your attention, or to my attention to bring to your attention, is there is healing happening on both ends. I feel like you both have been through a lot, okay? Nine of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. You both have been through some very difficult situations in your individual pasts, and that may have been something that has caused either you or both this person to be very defensive, to often resort to self-sabotaging behaviors. But it's one of those things where I feel like you're both holding each other accountable to that, okay? Four of Swords and the Strength card. This to me is holding each other accountable to your individual healing, not making it your responsibility and not making it their responsibility to manage that for you, but still holding space. A lot of the times holding space in a relationship like this looks like letting them have their process, offering support where you can, but understanding that you can't do the healing work for them and vice versa. That's kind of just the main energy I'm getting here between you two. It's just like you're both kind of going through this phase where you've worked through your own issues in the relationship and have come together and are solid in building the future. But by doing that, again, you're having that space to process everything that you both have been through. Because you're both loving each other in a way that I don't think either of you have experienced. And this is bringing up a lot of healing for both of you. Keep in mind that like you don't always have to go through traumatic events to heal your past. Sometimes you can find healing through being in a secure, loving relationship. And I feel like that's kind of what we're reading for today. You're both in this space of healing each other. Because it's like, I feel like the passion is there. This is something where you're both very passionate about each other and this relationship. What I'm seeing with the Nine of Wands, like almost graduating to the Queen of Wands, I feel like this is just the passion is building. You know what I mean? There's a sense of passion between you two that is continuously building up to a point where I feel like you're both, it's just there's a lot of pressure, but it doesn't feel like a bad pressure. I feel like if you are experiencing any conflict in your relationship, it's simply because you both more than likely want to be, if you're not physically with this person, if this is like a long distance thing, we did have the Eight of Wands, that can be a long distance, right? If this is a long distance thing where you both are together but not physically together, this is that energy that's getting you to work on anything that you feel may be holding you back. So holding that intention of manifesting that physical union between you two, understanding that a lot of the times the separation really only exists within your mind. In these types of connections, you will feel very energetically connected to this person, telepathically connected to this person. I feel like this is something that has been confirmed on both ends. I do feel like you both are in union based on what I'm seeing with this energy. But it's just a matter of essentially going through your own healing processes and allowing yourselves the space to go through that. I feel like I'm just kind of getting a repeat at this point as I'm continuing to clarify these cards. That's kind of just where I'll pull some final advice here and see what comes out, but that's kind of where I feel like the reading is probably going to stop, because it just seems like you're both in that space of releasing some stuff. Yeah, we're getting repeat messages. We have the Chariot. Okay, so things are moving forward. Then we have the Ten of Wands, and we have the Fool. So it's pretty much repeating at this point. So I don't feel like, again, I don't feel like this is a question of whether or not this relationship is moving forward. I think, again, that's what the pressure is with this Ten of Wands, can be just very burdensome. It's like you both want to move things forward, but for whatever reason, I feel like the universe is getting you to look at your own individual healing in order to just clear out anything you need to clear out, right? So I think as a final advice, it's to understand that it's like, because you have both chosen each other and have decided to be in this relationship, whether it looks like you may have actually been in this for a while with the Ten of Cups, I feel like you both have been in this relationship for a while here. And this is essentially both of you just really like working through whatever it is you need to work through to bring this together. And I feel like you both are doing this. to be completely honest. Let's go and just get some advice on that. So what can you do to further release this burden? Not even release the burden, but what is it that's burdening you both, right? What is it that's kind of getting in the way of you feeling this energy? Nine of Swords, again, these are internal fears. This could just be external stressors in your life. We have the Empress and we have Death. Eight of Wands, bottom of the deck, coming out twice. A lot of repeating messages. We have Death coming out twice. Okay. We also have the Empress and the Nine of Swords. And we were clarifying the question, what is getting in the way of releasing these burdens? And again, I feel like this has to do with just the overthinking and the worrying, right? When you tend to overthink and you tend to worry about a particular, I guess, I don't know, a particular dynamic or how things are going to work, a lot of the times you're going to amplify that energy between each other, right? So this is a need for you both to ground yourselves and both of you to understand that there is a deep transformation going on in this relationship, and I feel like it has to do with things moving forward. I don't feel like there's any fears that are here. They're unfounded fears. If you're worried about this person being unfaithful, we're not seeing that at all. If you're worrying about this relationship not moving forward, again, we're not seeing that at all. What I'm seeing here is a relationship that's on the way towards that beautiful future that you want for each other. But it's a matter of letting go of your own fears, right? Magician under that, Four of Wands under that, and the Hierophant. Okay, I don't know how much clearer we can get. We're getting repeating messages here. I mean, as a closing message, man, Magician, Four of Wands, and the Hierophant, that's like union, commitments, building some sort of stable foundation. That's manifesting. That's either already here for you or it's in the process. Remember, these manifestations for relationships like these, they take time, right? So it's, so long as both people keep the same intention and you're doing the work on yourselves and you're showing up for the relationship, it's really no question about where it's going to move. Seven of Swords, the Page of Wands, bottom of the deck there. It's letting go of your own internal fears and stressors. Seven of Swords, I feel like there's a sense of distrust from your past. I feel like you may have dealt with situations that may have looked like this at one point and started out great, but maybe didn't end up so well. And I feel like that's where the fear is coming from. I don't feel like this is either of you being deceptive towards each other. I think this is just both of you have had experiences like this in the past, and you're now working through those fears. That's where I think that's just where I'm going to leave it, because we're just repeating the same message here for probably about 10 minutes. I wanted to keep the reading going because I was like, well, maybe there's more. But it really looks like it's just solid. You guys are together. You're moving towards marriage. You're moving towards a family. Whatever it is you two are going towards, you're going towards it. Now you're just working through the fears and the trauma and the triggers that come with that, right? So I'm going to go and leave it there. If you want to book a personal reading, subscribe to Patreon or listen to my music. All of that is in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. I love you so much. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next reading. Goodbye.